morning, dear students. Today, let us continue with our lesson number 2, life processes in living organism. So, in the last class or lecture, we have learned about aerobic respiration and the energy production. So, today we are going to learn next point, that is energy production in microorganism through anaerobic respiration. So here, some organism cannot live in presence of oxygen. So we have already learned that anaerobic respiration means what? The oxygen is not involved in this type of respiration. So there are many bacteria who cannot live in presence of oxygen. Such living organisms have to perform anaerobic respiration for the energy production. And this includes two steps, that are glycolysis and fermentation. So in the ninth standard, you all have learned the process of fermentation in microorganisms. So glucose is incompletely oxidized. So in anaerobic respiration, we have to remember that glucose is incompletely oxidized and less amount of energy is obtained. So here it includes the conversion of glucose into pyruvic acid, and that process is known as glycolysis. And this pyruvic acid is converted into organic acid or organic alcohol in presence of some enzymes, and this process is known as fermentation. Some higher plants, animals, and aerobic microorganisms also perform anaerobic respiration when there is depletion in oxygen level in surrounding. So because of this depletion in oxygen level, they perform anaerobic respiration. So there are few examples in which some plants or their seeds perform anaerobic respiration if soil is submerged underwater during germination. And similarly, when we perform exercise, our muscle cells perform anaerobic respiration, where less amount of energy is produced in a body and the lactic acid gets accumulates, and that's the reason we feel tired when we perform exercise. Next point that we are going to learn is energy from different food components. So in food components, we have learned about carbohydrates, and next point is proteins. So the sources of proteins are of two types. Veg sources are also there and non-veg sources are there. Under veg sources, we know all sorts of pulses like moong dal, tur dal, masoor dal. So these are the veg sources of protein. And egg, meat, chicken, pork, or fish, these are coming under non-veg sources of proteins. Here you'll have to remember this, that animal proteins are also known as first class proteins. Why? Because they are easily digestible and also cheap as compared to the veg sources of the proteins. In the first chapter, we have learned about the amino acids and proteins. So definition of proteins is, proteins are macromolecules which are formed by bonding together of many amino acids. So here you can see the dots which are amino acids, and they have been connected with each other with the help of peptide bonds, and the chain of amino acids form proteins. So when we eat the proteins or when we intake protein, how many kilocalories energy is been obtained in a body? So 1 gram of protein gives 4 kilocalorie of energy. So this is very important. So you'll have to remember that 1 gram of protein gives us 4 kilocalorie of energy, and here kilocalorie is the unit of energy. Then after digestion, proteins are being digested and separate amino acids have been formed. and these separated amino acids are being absorbed in the body and transported to each organs and cell with the help of blood. So here I have shown you all amino acids which are separated after digestion are being absorbed in the body and are transported to organs and cells with the help of blood. And these organs and cells produce various proteins which are necessary for themselves and for the whole body. So dear students, let us learn few examples through which we will learn the production of the proteins which are necessary for that particular organ or cell. So here you all can see under skin melanin protein is being produced which is used for the skin color, and here keratin which is related to hair. So melanin and keratin are the proteins which are produced with the help of amino acids. Bones require osin which is one type of protein. Similarly, cells they also require various proteins in the cell membrane, and various enzymes are also included. So, pancreas also produce hormone and enzymes. So, insulin is one type of hormone which regulates the blood sugar level, and trypsin which is an digestive enzyme which is helpful in breaking proteins in the small intestine. Blood. So hemoglobin and antibodies are present in the blood which are source of which are also proteins. Muscles have actin and myosin which work together to generate the movements, or the flexibility of muscles are been done with the help of these two proteins. In case of pituitary glands, these glands are controlling the activity of other hormone secreting glands, and they are also having various hormones. So such proteins are being produced with the help of amino acids which are necessary for that particular organs and cells. And excess of amino acids are broken down, and ammonia, here you'll have to remember ammonia is formed which is eliminated by a body. And if necessary, excess of proteins have been converted into glucose which happens inside the liver, and this process of protein conversion into glucose is with the help of process glycogeno glyconeogenesis. So this is all about the protein and the energy production. So have a good day, students.